what major decisions have you already orchestrated?
Can you give me an example of an event that was decided here before being implemented in the outside world?
Well, take the French Revolution. It was decided right here 2 years before its implementation
Really?
in France.
Concerning the case of the French Revolution, I wasn't invited. But as far as the American Revolution is concerned, Louis, I can testify that we planned it 5 years before implementing it, for example.
Wow, really? That is interesting.
How long have you been active?
Oh, this tradition has more or less always existed, Louis.
Really?
It's continued from generation to generation.
So they really are like the Illuminati then. Is this what the order is? Is the order the Illuminati?
Do you often hold this kind of society dinner?
In general, once a year, but in actual fact it tends to be events that dictate our gatherings.
No more questions.
Louis, let me keep you a moment.
Oh, he wants to talk to us privately. Oh.
I would like to let you in on a secret before we begin, because I'm going to need your assistance.
I don't know about that.
You see, the project I'm going to present concerns the territory of Louisiana in North America.
The Louisiana
It's
Purchase.
currently Spanish territory, and I'm going to make the proposition to the Assembly for it to become French.
No, that's okay. Continue.
My idea is to increase the territory of the United States. The first stone of this vast project consists of getting Spain to cede Louisiana to France. Once it becomes French, France will hand it over to the United States, which will then allow them to double the size of their territory.
Well, they did double the
And
size.
that's where you come in. France and the United States, hand in hand, two democracies illuminating the world.
Illuminating. So we're trying to help get the Louisiana Purchase?
Lord Mortimer, I'm sure you're aware that Louisiana is hardly prime quality land. I wouldn't be exaggerating to call it marshland.
Yeah, they
How is
didn't...
acquiring land they won't know what to do with going to strengthen the United States?
Think further, Louis. The United States won't stop there. Once they've acquired Louisiana, nothing will stop them. All they would have to do then is keep pushing toward the west to take the whole North American continent.
So you intend to get rid of the Spanish?
They are purely transitory. This is the settlers' home. It is natural for them to want to develop their nation to become one of the greatest powers of this world. As for the Spanish, there are just a handful of them actually on site, and if need be, we'll see to it that they are sufficiently occupied in Europe so that their focus is not on the North American continent. Moreover, Spain really only cares about its colonies in South America. It's hardly my fault if they're not capable of seeing the potential in the North American territories. The concept of royalty is from bygone times. It is time to lead the way to democracy. Take a look at them. Apart from President Washington, they all belong to monarchies.
Interesting.
Do you really think they won't resist? Of course they'll fight, fearful as they are of losing their precious privileges. But the world needs visionaries, like you, like your mother. It's a pity Sarah isn't here to see it. She only knew about a tiny part of the project. I hope I can count on you, Louis. It's time to start now. I must ask you to keep it to yourself for the time being. Take a seat, follow the discussions. We'll have an opportunity to catch up later, and you'll be able to let me know your
This
thoughts.
is very interesting. So wait, there's one thing I don't quite understand. So our mother specifically told us to go against Lord Mortimer and to make sure we do everything in our power for him to not to get his way. So does that mean she doesn't want us to give America the Louisiana Purchase? Like, she doesn't want us to change it from Spanish territory to French territory so that they could give that territory to America. She doesn't want us to do the Louisiana Purchase, which is what actually happened in history. Is that what I'm understanding? If you guys could like clarify that, because I'm I don't know. I'm confused if that's the case. So, okay, it's Mortimer and Washington working together. So basically, what the government politicians do, but just more shady, if not equally shot. We're playing Sims with the world, so you can start wars too. As far as I know, Mortimer isn't part of the Golden Order, but works with them or invites them to his council meetings, more or less, I think. So Mortimer has his hand in multi-countries, governments, and tries to run things. That's so shady. How is that a good thing? Depends on what they try to do with it. They can probably think things like this is for the best or whatever thinking they are in right now. Yeah, but that doesn't mean the people in Spain would agree to that. I assume he has people on the inside only as has to convince certain people or have one country attack the other. Wouldn't be surprised if it was just like this in real life too, but not to an extreme of that scale. The fact that there is more French people compared to Spanish seems unfair to me. He is trying to win the votes. While everyone has their own opinions, even if Louis is French, he doesn't necessarily care about some events like these as long as it doesn't cause an all-out war, I assume. Alright, so I guess in order to follow what my mom says, I have to go against what Mortimer asked of me. I should not help him then. I should not help him convert the Louisiana area from Spanish to French. That's my understanding. I shouldn't be doing that. I think she's mistrustful about something else, but doesn't know the details. Okay, so does that mean that if I wanted to give America the Louisiana Purchase, that doesn't go against what my mom's saying? That's the part I don't understand. She said make things go smoothly, so pick the choice that caused the least amount of people to be mad at you, or play along with what Mortimer wants. Okay. Yeah, she said make things go smoothly. Okay. Alright, then that's, I guess, what I'll do. Do you want to do what your mother said? I kind of, because that's what I said I was going to do. I told Mom I would do what she told me to do, but I thought what she told me to do was not necessarily to play nice, to make things go smoothly. I thought she told me it was to not trust Mortimer and not let him have his way. Go with Sarah for now, I say. When you find out more, then you can make up your name. I don't think the game would go to that differing in history, but it would be interesting if the epilogue was like, flash forward 200 years to see how badly Louis forks something up. Yeah, she doesn't trust him. Okay.
Blast it, Mother. You didn't know about everything. His project is commendable.
That is, yeah.
Why tell me to beware? Could you have gotten it wrong?
Yeah. Yeah, unless he's tricking us.
My
I
friends,
think Mortimer is tricking
I propose
us.
we get started.
I think he's tricking us. Mortimer is converting it to France, but for a different reason.
First of all, I would like to thank you for taking the time to come.
The honor is ours, my lord.
As per our custom, here we are all together to discuss the face of tomorrow's world. Even though there may be certain tensions between our nations, I must ask you to keep an open mind. As Sarah de Richet is unable to be among us, please welcome Louis de Richet, who will represent the Golden Order and will vote on its behalf when the time comes.
Welcome among us, Louis.
Welcome, Monsieur.
I
de
hope
Richet.
he'll be more effective than his mother regarding the protection of the King of France. The Order has proved particularly inefficient.
Come, Manuel, you're not going to spoil our visit. The Order's mission was not to protect King Louis XVI, as far as I am aware.
We are talking about a king of divine blood, for goodness sake. It seemed obvious to me he needed protecting. If the Golden Order wants to pride itself on being an influential organization, it should have kept him alive.
Put God in his place, give a nod without saying anything.
Thank you all. I am honored to be among you today. I will strive to represent the interests of the Order as best I can.
Perhaps we may begin, Lord Mortimer.
Oh, great.
Certainly. I have a dream that our nations will continue to support each other, more now than ever before. A dream that, for the sake of common good, we will do what it takes to ensure stability in the modern world. I have a dream that we shall lead by example and ensure that the American territory may remain in peace.
Thank you for the thought, Lord Mortimer. But I don't see where you're leading.
I'm coming to it, Mr. President. I need not remind you that North America is currently divided between the United States on the east coast and Spain, which occupies the remaining 2/3 of the continent. Well, I propose that Spain cede the center of the continent to France, namely all of Louisiana.
Louisiana? But, well, it is not for sale. Lord Mortimer, I sincerely hope I have not come all this way just to hear you ramble on about what Spain should and should not do. When we went to all the trouble of gaining the territory a few years ago, it was not just to lose it today. Have I made myself clear?
What did I tell you, William? You speak of union, and yet here you are, about to tear us apart.
Duke Manuel, I perfectly understand you. But rest assured, you will soon adore my proposition. You shall see.
Well, since you give me the choice, my good fellow, allow me to doubt it. However, I am impatient to hear what Spain could possibly gain from the sale of Louisiana.
I never spoke of a sale, my good fellow.
What? But I do not understand.
There is one more territory left to conquer, if I'm not mistaken, in the northwest. It is, of course, occupied by your notorious Indians, but...
We shall
Native
soon be
Americans,
rid of the savages,
but
so
I
that
know.
is not the question.
They're not savages. I'm going to speak up.
Duke, these savages, as you call them, were there before you.
Yeah.
They're on their homeland.
Yep.
As much as the black people of Africa, Monsieur de Richet. That does not stop your dear France from
Wow,
massacring them
they
and
went
sending them
there.
like cattle to Mr. Washington's
I mean,
cotton
during that time,
plantations
but
to
wow.
provide him with cheap labor. So you keep your morals to yourself, if you please.
Hey, I'm part of this council right
I
now.
would not like to be associated with that. The subject of black slaves in the United States of America is a complex subject, which we shall resolve at a future date.
Yeah. The filthy swine. France. What? So are we... who are we talking to? Who are we talking about when we're talking about the filthy swine? Challenge him. France will soon no longer use slavery. This is etiquette? It's etiquette to say filthy swine? Wait, the etiquette thing to do is to say filthy swine? I don't understand this choice. First of all, who are we calling filthy swine? Are we calling the Americans filthy swine for having slaves? Are we calling the Spaniards filthy swine? Are we calling the slaves filthy swine? I don't understand what this is saying. This is the part where I don't understand the context of the decisions. The Native Americans have to be kicked out of their homes everywhere. It's so upsetting. I don't know much about history. I don't know if France and Spain were allies at this time. But this guy was probably upset about a monarchy being overthrown or them. You want to insult him? Huh, the Spanish guy, I think. Yeah, I don't want to insult him. This is not etiquette. This right here is not etiquette. I think you insult the French man. I mean, I feel like this is less offensive than that. So, I don't know why the filthy swine challenge him. I don't understand this at all, but I'm just gonna say this because I don't like the sound of this.
Senor Godoy, you must know that France will soon ban these barbaric practices.
Oh, do not get on your high horse, Monsieur Frenchman. The only reason why France has ceased trading in slaves is because of the commercial blockade that Great Britain has imposed against you. The instant the shipping lanes have been restored, France will again treat these people like cattle.
Come now, my friends, let us not digress. Anyway, these primitive people have no souls, Louis. We bring the good word to them in order to save them. You'll see. Colonization brings with it many benefits, too.
Excuse me, if you don't mind, Your Eminence, I shall continue. Duke Manuel, I believe that Spain should cede Louisiana to France free of charge.
This is utterly grotesque, Lord Mortimer.
I think that's
what
grotesque
a strange
too.
example you set for your young protege.
As someone who...
Isn't that so, Monsieur de Richet? Do you understand anything of this proposition?
As someone who personally indirectly benefited from the Louisiana Purchase because I'm an American, as someone who sort of benefited from that, even I think that's a really bad deal to let him give away all that. That's a huge amount of territory, marshland or not. That's still land. That's still like acreage. Giving that away for free, even I'm like, that's not a fair deal to me at all. Is that so, Mr. Do you understand anything of this proposition? It would protect you from the Americans. It will protect you from the British. I'm not getting involved because yeah. Plus, our mom again says that she doesn't trust Mortimer, and Mortimer might have given us a story about why he wants this to happen, but I don't think I'm going to trust it, so I'm going to say nothing.
I must say, William, I find your project mostly disfavors me. I thought you were my friend.
And I am, Mr. President. That is why I'm doing everything in my power to calm your expansionist fervor. France, in Louisiana, should persuade you not to attempt anything to take the territory by force. Louisiana is a vast wetland where you would needlessly lose most of your troops. It would weaken you and offer certain nations the perfect opportunity to take back your famous United States. I am protecting you from yourself, George. Trust me.
I understand. But with friends like you, sir, I certainly don't need any more enemies.
Oh, snap.
I hope you know what you're doing.
I hope. Yeah, I think he knows exactly what he's doing.
Am I imagining things, or does it look like Washington isn't aware of Mortimer's plan?
Yeah, there's something
Not
fishy
to
going
put
on
too
here.
fine
If
a
Washington
point
isn't
on it,
aware,
Lord
something's
Mortimer,
going down.
But I doubt the Holy See would be in favor of Catholic Louisiana being handed over to secular revolutionaries and king killers.
Ooh.
I should think Monsieur de Richet has an opinion on this subject, does he not?
France will protect the Christians. France does not need to seek the Pope's difficulty. I'm not helping with this at all. Like, yeah, I'm not helping with this whole thing at all. France will protect the Christians. France does not need to seek the Pope's opinion. Think of Mortimer's maps of the world, say nothing. I wonder how much, don't make promises you can't keep. He's sure asking you for your opinion a lot. Maybe he's sizing you up. Yeah, well, the problem is, I think the problem is all of these arguments, with the exception of say nothing, if I understand correctly, all of these arguments are to help Mortimer's plan to get Spain to give up Louisiana to France. There isn't really a response here, unless I'm misreading this. There doesn't seem to be an actual response that goes directly against this exchange. So I find that really disappointing, because that really takes away the choice. You know, the closest thing is just to say nothing, but I would much rather just say, no, you guys, you're right, Mr. Godoy, like, this is a really awful deal. I don't think you should take it. But it doesn't look like the game's letting us say that. It's just the only options that Louis has is to say nothing or to agree with this. Is that right? Maybe think of Mortimer Mass right now gives you more info. I think did this agreement really happen? Who knows? Who knows if this agreement really happened? I think I should think Mr. Shea has an opinion on the subject, has he not? France will protect the Christians. France does not need to seek the Pope's opinion. Think of Mortimer's maps of the world. Say nothing.
In any case, my lord, I doubt the English crown will agree.
Ich versichere Ihnen, Emily, nie Preußen wird diese Vereinbarung akzeptieren.
I don't know what he said. Oh.
I assure you, Emily, the Prussian will never accept this agreement.
Thank you.
Volney looks like he's set on ruining Mortimer's plan.
I'm set on ruining Mortimer's
Duchess,
plan.
I am persuaded that we shall find a common ground.
I'm not
That's
supporting
enough,
it.
William. These are grave times. We don't care about the fate of Louisiana. That worthless expanse of putrid swamps interests no one but yourself.
Speak for yourself, my friend.
Hold on there, Mr. Royal Gigolo.
Mr. Royal
Lower the
Gigolo?
volume, and let Sir Gregory finish.
Yeah.
Home, Godoy, and now Volner? Mortimer's adversaries are ready to tear each other to pieces, and he takes a malicious pleasure in watching it happen.
How dare you?
Gentlemen, let us try to remain calm.
There you are, William. See where your projects have taken us, as per usual. Chaos! That's enough. I'm tired. We shall continue this discussion tomorrow, but please be aware that your project will never be ratified. Those who are opposed to this project, follow me. Are you coming with us, Monsieur de Richet?
Come, Gregory, I think Louis would rather stay. Wouldn't you, Louis?
Wow, there's a lot of people over there. Yeah. Yeah, so, and plus, you know, for the most part, overall, I like this group of people way more than, well, right now it's just Mortimer. I don't know where Washington fits on this, because he's not over there, but he doesn't seem to be aware of what's going on with Mortimer's plan at all. He seems to be completely like, the fact that if Mortimer really is trying to do this for America, if he's trying to do this for America because he wants to be able to spread democracy, why didn't he let the George Washington know about this plan? Why didn't he tell him? It doesn't seem like Washington knows anything about this. So it seems like he's hiding something. That's why he didn't say anything to Washington. If that really was his motivation, if that's really his reason, is to help out, you know, Washington or help out democracy, why didn't he just tell Washington about it? Why did he tell me? Or you know, something just seems off. It doesn't make sense, which is why I'm starting to believe more and more. To me, this is what's validating what my mother said. Peer pressure. Washington is with Mortimer, I think. Yeah, but Washington doesn't know what's going on. Washington has no clue what's going on, I don't think. And I feel like Washington's just kind of hanging out because he's just completely in the dark. Yeah, I'm not assisting Mortimer. I'm trusting Mortimer. I'm believing what my mom says. I'm leaving to assist home.
At the risk of displeasing you, my lord, I'd rather follow Sir Gregory. I don't think this is a place for the Order.
Louis? No.
Let him go, Mr. President. Everyone is free to choose.
Sorry, Mr. Washington. What is your opinion of this meeting so far? So the thing is, like, I know what happened historically. I mean, I don't know that this specifically happened historically, you know, but I know that the Louisiana Purchase was a thing. I mean, that was a huge part of how America expanded. They doubled in size by taking what was perceived to be a useless or, you know, very cheap patch of land, but it was massive. But once we got it, we were able to expand, and that, of course, allowed us to continue expanding our territory, and let's be honest here, conquering more territory and taking it away from not only like the Spaniards, but also the Native Americans, until finally we took over the rest of North America, and we all know what happened to the Native Americans after that. So it's obviously, like, I never loved at all that part of American history. I think no matter where you live, there's always going to be something in your personal nation's history that was very ugly, that you are not proud of. And I think what we ended up doing to the Native Americans was awful and barbaric. But you can't help but feel hypocritical because I'm currently living the benefits of what our forefathers did. You know, I'm here sitting down, you know, playing this video game in front of you. I don't know what I'd be doing if the history didn't do what history did. And it's just, yeah, I mean, it's a shame because I just saw Colin, my husband, is very big on, he loves The West Wing, for those of you who know about that show back in the early 2000s. And there was an episode about Native Americans, which was one of my favorite episodes, and how they were just talking about trying to regain some of their territory. And so it's so hard because you empathize with them. I feel like they got the short end of the stick, and, you know, we're so prideful about everything in America and how wonderful and land of the free and all that good stuff. But the price that we paid for it is, I'm going to be very honest, the price we paid was awful. And that's just one aspect of our history that is very ugly. I'm going to be very honest about that. They also touched on slavery, and slavery is no longer a thing. It's no longer legal here in America, but the effects of blacks versus whites racism is still very much a real thing, and it's gotten considerably better. Let's give ourselves some credit here. It's gotten considerably better. Is it completely solved? Absolutely not. Is it going to ever be perfect? I hope so, but we still have a ways to go. So it's really interesting touching on all of these things in this council. Now, when it comes specifically to my opinion on whether or not we should let Mortimer convince Spain to give their territory to France, like, Louis being in character, he doesn't know what's going to happen really with that, and I don't know if Louis particularly cares one way or another of whether or not American democracy was spread. I don't know how much he really cares about that because he is French and he's used to a monarchy, you know, because they have their royal French royalty and all that good stuff. So maybe he's big into democracy. I don't know. I'm not really sure what his opinions are on that. So I don't know if he necessarily has that much of a personal stake in this, or if he really personally cares about this all that much. So the thing that he's doing right now I don't think really has, his main motivation is not really, you know, what's awesome for America or what's awesome for Spain or what's awesome for France. I think he's right now just trying to focus on what his mom told him, because he does kind of trust what his mom is saying to him. And he's just kind of playing it by ear just to see how it all plays out. Hopefully that answered your question, Fantasy. I repeat, Hark, in Australia, that the English settlers did what the English settlers did to the Aboriginals was horrific. I actually don't know much about the history of Australia and the Aboriginals, so I'm going to have to look that up. Do you think people in the future will look back at us and think the same, feel bad about our choices? Well, I think even to this day, we've been making, in my opinion, some poor decisions and some poor choices here in America that 30 years, 50 years, 100 years from now and beyond, people are going to look back and be like, wow, like, what in the world were our ancestors doing? What were they thinking? So, yeah, absolutely is unfortunate. I don't think I'd go that far, but be hilariously effed up if, based on your choices, you've turned Washington into a horrible monster. America has now collapsed into itself for the next half century. I mean, this is like an alternative, like, historical universe. So I think that they can do that, because I don't think this game is meant to be true to what actually happened in history. I think it's an alternate reality. So I think the game should, if it can, I think it should do that. If that's what Louis' choices and decisions ultimately influence and lead to.